Hello again and welcome back. In this video, we're going to be looking at how and why, asking more kinds of questions. So far, we've learned how to ask several kinds of questions. We can use ti or tis to ask what or who. We can use posos to ask how much or how many. We can use pu to ask where, or pata to ask when. But we often need to ask how something is done. Πως is the primary word meaning how, and like most question words, it starts with a P. This is another interrogative adverb. Now, in how questions, πως usually starts the clause. So here are some examples. Πως ton huion su hures? How, πως, did you find hures, your son, ton huion su? Or πως elthes hode? How, πως, did you come, elthes, here, hode? Πως can be used in some other ways as well. It can just mean how, without being interrogative, as in Alexandros moi epen πως oikon kainon agoradzes. Alexander told me how, πως, you are buying a new house. And in this usage, it's very much like the subordinating conjunction hoti. The negation of πως, me πως, can mean lest, or else, or so that something does not happen. And me πως can be written as one word, without the space between me and πως. So, for example, we get me epe me πως Maria su accuses. Don't speak, me epe, so that, me πως, Maria will not hear you. And you notice that me πως corresponds in the English translation to the so that and the will not. Me πως, so that someone will not do something. Or lest Maria hear you. But lest, although it makes translation easier, is not really used in modern English. It's certainly not used in conversational English. So that's why I would encourage you to use or else, or so that somebody does not instead. Πως also appears in the idiom πως dei plus the infinitive, which means how something should do an action, perform an action. So, Maria epen soi πως dei feren ten trophen. Maria told you how, πως, you should, dei, carry the food, feren ten trophen. We already know the word for asking why. It's ti. Ti can mean either what, or who, or it can mean why. And when it means why, it's actually short for dia ti, because of what, for what reason. And this is why tis never means why. It's only ever the neuter form ti. How can we tell whether ti means what or why? Well, again, we have to infer its meaning from context. Try to understand the question or statement both ways. Treat it first as what, and then treat it as why, and see whether one of them doesn't make any sense. So, for example, ti elthete es Jerusalem means, why did you go to Jerusalem? Ti, why? Or we can say, ti arton phoebe poie. Why is Phoebe making bread? There again, ti means why, and Phoebe is making, poie, bread, arton. How do we answer why questions? Well, if what we're trying to do is explain the purpose for which something happens, we can use our eis ta plus the infinitive construction. So we can say, elthon te Jerusalem, Hierosalume, eis ta blepein tena delphein mu. The eis ta blepein means in order to see tena delphein mu, my sister. We can also explain the cause of something when somebody asks why. And here we can use dia ta plus the infinitive. Phoebe arton poie, Phoebe is making bread. Dia ta keluein Maria autein. She's making bread because dia ta, Maria ordered her to. Keluein Maria autein. And again, that's one of these infinitive clauses playing the role of the noun in a prepositional phrase. When we're trying to explain the cause of something, though, we can also use a hoti clause, treating hoti as because. So, phoebe arton poie, Phoebe is making bread, hoti ekelusa Maria autein, because Maria ordered her to. Notice here now that instead of using an infinitive and having Maria the subject in the accusative case, like we did with the last example, now Maria is in the nominative case and she's the subject of a finite verb. Why? Well, because hoti is a subordinating conjunction that is just followed by a regular clause, whereas dia ta introduces an infinitive clause as part of the prepositional phrase.